Hi, and welcome to Wow Talk. I'm Donna Cappuccitti, a thriving cancer survivor.
And I'm her naturopathic doctor, Darlene Gustin. We're here to encourage, educate, and empower you on your journey to optimum wellness.
Welcome. Today we are going to talk about allergies since it is the season.
It's time, definitely. So there's a lot of pollen in the air where we live right now, and health topics in the clinic vary from month to month, and this is the time for allergies.
And I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
Every morning I wake up and I'm all stuffed up, and even my voice, you can probably hear it. Our listeners can probably hear a little bit of raspiness.
Definitely. So we live in a part of the world where I meet a lot of patients who move to the Greater Toronto area and they did not have allergies at home, but almost to the day when they come to this neck of the woods, they have allergies and they might go home for the weekend and the allergies go away. So we're known for that. And there's a lot of things you can do about it. First of all, simple hygiene things that I talk to about patients. And we're of course talking more about seasonal allergies and pollen and outdoor air type of allergies. And a lot of patients have dogs, and you can be strategic about what time of day you're outside. You can look at the news and you can look up online which plant is in high pollination that day or what time of day. And if that's the only time you can walk your dog, when the pollen count is the highest, at least take your shower after the dog walk, not first thing in the morning. So you don't want all that pollen in your hair and then you want to squish it into your pillow and it's on your clothes, etc. So just simple change in routine. Have your shower after you come indoors.
That is such a simple tip.
Definitely.
Yet I'm sure it makes all the difference in the world.
Exactly. So step one is reduce your exposure. And also with that, a lot of people are using a neti pot, which is a saltwater nasal rinse.
Yeah.
So you're basically washing the pollen off from inside your nose. So a little hygiene thing. So that helps so that you don't even trigger that allergic reaction in the first place. But of course, as a naturopath, we are looking at increasing the resistance of the individual. It's not enough to just live in a plastic bubble. Mm-hmm. You need to normalize your immune system. And there are various deficiencies, nutritional deficiencies that affect the immune system that are very helpful to prevent and treat allergies. And also in my clinic, we have a microscope and we can see different aspects of the immune system. That helps us give the right answer because there's so many supplements to choose from. You don't want to waste your time or money picking the wrong one.
Exactly. So what are the symptoms that someone would have? But also, what exactly is pollen?
Oh,
and how would you know that you have it? We're going to assume you do if you're out in the environment when it's high, but maybe we can go right back to...
It's an airborne plant particle, but there's also, so that's something that you inhale.
Okay.
And you may or may not see it settling on your clothes and your skin, but there's also things that we touch, like poison ivy.
Oh, yeah.
So there's different allergies. Did you inhale it? Did you touch it? Did you ingest it? And the symptoms vary. The popular ones, of course, being sneezing, itchy, watery eyes. Those are the top two. Mm-hmm. Sinus congestion, like your raspy voice. But they could be more ambiguous. It could just be generally, I'm so tired. Like I meet a lot of patients in the late summer and they go, I just have this mystery fatigue. And I said, oh, did it start around August the 15th? And so that's the beginning of an allergy season here locally. And when we just look at the timing of when something starts, these simple little obvious clues can really give you a lot of useful information. So the symptoms could be skin, could be digestive, and because the whole body's affected, not just the body part that touched the plant. And an interesting thing that I want to share, having the microscope, the live blood cell microscope in the clinic, a lot of the times when we look at the blood, we see that we need to improve the microbiome. So the microbiome, that's your bug collection. Your probiotics are the good guys, and there are parasites or microorganisms that could be present that are not necessarily useful or directly harmful, or your body's indifferent. So there's different relationships we can have with these microorganisms. But 80% of your immune system is your microbiome.
Oh my goodness. That microbiome seems to be really significant in a lot of different areas. And for our listeners, if you refer back, we do have a previous episode where we go into detail regarding your gut health. I believe that's somewhat in the title of it. Wow. Oh my goodness. So what do we do?
It's huge. So a lot of patients will pick up some probiotics, and that would help. And if they find that they're only symptom-free as long as they continue taking probiotics forever, I usually say, well, you didn't reset the other half of the microbiome. So usually it's a two-step process.
Yes.
That you have to reduce the parasites and increase the number and variety of probiotics. And according to observing the immune system on my microscope, when I improve the microbiome and look at the blood, if we see allergic behavior in the immune system, in addition to distorted microbiome, when we kill the parasite, plant the probiotics, and look at the blood, the person's immune system is not behaving in an allergic way. So the biggest thing we see is that, how do I make you no longer allergic to the pollen?
That is essential. That is so great, because that's what we want. We just don't want to treat the symptom.
Right. So that's what we mean by root cause.
Yes.
But there are so many other modalities in alternative medicine, and different modalities that I've personally used over this many years in practice. So I used to use a very popular homeopathic remedy, which you could take in advance of the allergy season. So if you know that your allergies start at the beginning of July, you could start 4 weeks before that and take a homeopathic prevention protocol weekly. And if it's allergy season, you can use the same remedy maybe more often than weekly, maybe a couple times a week, to relieve the symptoms once the allergen's already present. But what I saw was that if we did that in year one, it took 1 to 3 seasons, and the person was no longer allergic and didn't need the supplement either, the homeopathic remedy.
Wow, that is really great.
Yeah.
So great.
And so there's so many different things. And then if we meet the patient in the middle of allergy season, the answers are a little bit different, because we want some immediate symptom relief. It might take 1 to 3 months or longer to fully rebalance someone's microbiome. But they need relief today, this week. So there are different answers, and those are usually from the herbs or the vitamins and minerals, the antioxidants, the vitamin C, the quercetin, these kind of things that are more directly just reduce my histamine.
Okay.
So those would work more like a natural
antihistamine.
Antihistamine that would be like a substitute for an over-the-counter pharmaceutical. So there are natural ways to do that, but naturopathic doctors are more hung up on, how do I make you not allergic person anymore?
Yes, which is fantastic. And that's what we all strive for.
Right.
Right? Get to the cause.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, be healthy and not have to take more things to counteract what's going on. So I wanted to ask you about what I used to do years ago. My mother and I used to get allergy shots. I was so young, and we would go every week, and we would get the needle. And I don't even know if they even do that sort of thing anymore. But what were they trying to do at that point?
Well, it did work. It did work, and it doesn't sound to be as common as it used to be from what my patients are telling me. Okay. Or I'm attracting different people.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
So those other people are seeing the other doctors. But the patients that I'm seeing, I'm not hearing that they're having allergy shots like I had heard it in the past. And those, even though it works to reduce your allergic symptoms, if you did not treat the root cause, that person is still walking around with dysbiosis or an imbalanced microbiome, you still have parasites. You're still missing probiotics. You're still deficient in zinc. So it didn't treat what I was just talking about. So the two forms of medicine really do complement each other. It's not an alternative. You either see a medical doctor or a naturopath. No, we're completely different. We're a team.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what were they injecting then?
Well, they were injecting different substances for different people based on what you were allergic to. And the other note is that those kind of pharmaceuticals are geared towards traditional allergic reactions, which is the IgE reaction in the body.
What does that mean?
Immunoglobulin E.
Okay.
So the traditional allergic reaction where you have the symptoms shortly after the exposure to the substance, but the immune system has different ways of reacting to different things. So maybe in another podcast, we can talk about IgG reactions, which are more about delayed food hypersensitivities. And there are also IgA reactions, which are the celiac disease people with gluten problems. So I call them different departments in the immune system so that people understand what we're talking about. So it was all to work on IgG reactions in the body. And also, why are so many people allergic compared to in the past? There are a lot of answers to that question. One could be just looking at society and what we've done in health over the last generation or two, that your immune system first step starts off with, were you a natural birth and exposed to natural vaginal microbiome in the birthing process? Followed by, were you breastfed? Were you implanted with good probiotics through the breastfeeding process? And even if you did those two steps right, how many times have you had antibiotics? Because antibiotics and other prescriptions really damage the microbiome, killing the probiotics. And now we know some of the more recent research is showing that one course of antibiotics can distort your probiotic status for as long as 2 years, with some microbes not even having the ability to repopulate.
Oh my.
Yeah. So
that's staggering, really, when you think about it.
It's huge. It's huge. And now in the world of gluten, they're saying, is it really the gluten everybody's so sensitive to? Or is it the pesticides in the grain industry? Is it the toxins?
Oh my goodness. That, to me, makes more sense about the toxins.
Yeah.
That is so fascinating. So how would someone know if they are having an allergic reaction to something or they have a cold?
Right. Well, they can overlap a lot, the symptoms. Yeah. But usually with an allergic reaction, you were perfectly fine, and then you went somewhere, you went to the farm, you cut the grass, you weeded the garden, you ate some food, and bang, shortly after that. So it's usually pretty obvious to the patient.
Okay.
Whereas with the cold, it's not so. It kind of, you wake up with a sneeze, and as the hours go by, you have more and more symptoms as the day goes by.
It gets worse. And with the allergy, when you're removed from the situation or from that thing, like let's say you're allergic to animal fur, does it go away immediately, or does it kind of linger for the day?
It depends on the person.
Okay.
People vary in how much they're allergic. So it can take 30 minutes to 2 days.
Okay. Wow. Of course. We're all different.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's a global answer. It's about teaching people how valuable nursing is when they have a baby. It's about being well nourished nutritionally. It's about common sense. If you're working on the farm for the summer and you're allergic to that field, is to have the shower at the end of your workday instead of at the beginning of your day. So it's a combination of all of the above.
Okay. Is there anything else we could do on our own? Let's say we can't get to a naturopath to talk about our allergies. Do you have any other suggestions? We talked about the neti pot and the shower. Anything else?
It's such an individual answer. Like I would say, how is the quality of your diet? And are you taking supplements to correct your deficiencies? but I wouldn't know which deficiencies you have. The popular ones, very top of the list, is vitamin C and the bioflavonoids, quercetin in particular, zinc. Those are at the very top of the list for helping allergies. And there are herbs such as nettle that are very well known for helping with allergies. But to know which, I can't really recommend.
You can't.
But there's a lot of good stuff out there and multiple modalities.
Okay, and here's a question that might need its own episode. What are your thoughts on bee pollen? I remember taking that also in my teens. I'd read this article on how, and to be honest, I took that for quite some time. And it was around that time that I stopped getting my allergy shots. And I really don't suffer a lot from allergies other than this, stuffed up little bit this time of year.
Definitely. There's a lot of patients that I personally have who have taken bee pollen or have just taken a spoonful of unpasteurized local honey.
Oh, I like that better.
Yeah. And that's something that maybe with those minute exposures, just like with the injectables, that gives you just a little taste of it so that your immune system can build up the immunity and normalize or balance the immune reaction.
Kind of like the way homeopathy works a little bit. No? Yes?
Homeopathy is very different.
Okay.
Homeopathy is highly diluted substances,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a whole different method that it works by. Whereas this is more like an old wives' tale.
Okay.
That the science is starting to be interested and curious about understanding why is that working for everybody. So I've been in practice long enough that I see a lot of old wives' tales being proven true by the science as the years go by.
I love that.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we need to do an episode on that.
Okay, I had the same thought.
I love that.
Old wives' tale. That's a good
that's
topic.
great.
Okay.
Anyway.
Now you guys can certainly suggest topics,
Yes.
but we looked at each other just now and said old wives' tales because we all have them, don't we?
We do. Oh my gosh. Anyway, but is there anything else you'd like to add regarding this particular topic? Allergies?
Well, I think that is pretty much the essence of what most naturopaths do. Like everything we've covered today would be 80% of what most naturopaths would be talking about, and more about cherry picking. Which ones are you? Not every patient needs a probiotic. Not every patient is low in vitamin C. Not every patient has dysbiosis. So the answers are always individual, but I've seen any one of these things work for the right patient.
Okay, sounds great. And once again, we pretty much focused on environmental allergies, right? As opposed to food allergies or food sensitivities, but that's a whole other thing. We're not going to get into that now, but thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions at all or would like to book an appointment with Dr. Gustin, please do. We have all of our information in the description.
Thank you for listening.
Bye for now.
Bye.